You're listening to the Friendlyjordies podcast. Hello, Alan Jones here, clearly on my way to the eternal abyss above. That's right, I'm quite confident I'm going to heaven despite the years of scandal in the Friendlyjordies studio, repenting for some of that with a stellar of a lineup. We have today, coming up, Tom's mugging story. Ooh, sounds controversial. Robbie's meme. What's the lowest form of art? I vaguely remember what that was about. How to be cool, union fundraising, how not to be stressed, not just story, plain scary. Jeez, that was poorly worded. Tom's golf swing, who am I? There we go. Anyway, I hope you understand what's happening this segment. I don't really. Anyway, see ya.
That was Alan Jones. Thank you.
Certainly was.
And
that's where your Patreon money goes every week.
Episode
for that quick little announcement.
Episode 55 of the Friendlyjordies podcast. Tom Montefiore in the studio.
Hello.
Jordan Shanks in the studio.
Pleasure to be with
Robbie
you.
Armfield here. Episode 55 for Friendlyjordies podcast. We've got so much lined up today, don't we?
Yep, you just heard Alan reading out my very rough notes of what the segments are. So yeah, we're talking about lots of stuff. And we'll start off with Who Am I?, which is a recurring segment that we do.
And has spuriously spurred into 3 different segments that vaguely share a similar theme threading through them. Which one specifically is this?
This one is the car game Who Am I?, where we are playing that with the audience every week on Facebook.
Oh yes, the original and the best.
Yeah, so it's like 20 questions where we are somebody and you guys ask us who we are, and we're trying to get to work out who we are each week. So what was the question this week, Robbie?
The question was, have you won an Oscar?
And the answer is...
What is the answer?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're just going to have to leave this as a solo to Tom.
No, I think
you
a duo.
No,
but not a choir. I'm out of this one.
it's I'm doing a thumb sign here to say what to.
Okay,
here we go.
Well,
the question for Who Am I?
I'm doing a thumb sign to indicate what it might be.
No, it's what it is.
You just made the music redundant.
Okay,
but it's fun to play, so do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you won an Oscar?
Yes. For the extremely slow players out there that didn't get that massive hint.
We think the person we are has won an Oscar.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. All right, so there it is. So ask your next question. So far, what do we know so far? That we're a celebrity that's American?
No.
Okay. All right,
We'll leave this up to Samuel Troy. This isn't our department.
Work it out yourself. I don't want to spoil what we are.
We're not going to do work.
Why do you always give a spoiler?
Yeah, I didn't mean to. Obviously, I didn't. Okay, so now let's move on to Jordan's self-help tip on how not to be stressed. So Robbie just wanted to ask Jordan.
No, just how do you deal with stress? I feel like it's probably a main aspect to self-help, I would assume. I obviously don't look at it nearly as much as you, but I thought potentially you'd have some great insights on this. And
a very good question, Robbie.
Thanks.
A very good question. Because there's several schools of thought on this. I personally subscribe to the language shuffling technique of Tony Robbins. I think that one really gets into the nuts and bolts of what stress is. Because let's talk about this. What is stress? How do you guys define it, first off?
I think I define stress as just feeling worried about something, feeling uneasy, and
a crippling
so extremely wishy-washy.
Yeah, just a very vague feeling of unease.
Like a crippling vice feeling in your head, like just really crippling vice-like.
Yeah, something that just takes up your thoughts, and all you can think about is a future event of some kind. Like it's the thing you're stressed out about, that you're worried about, just takes up the majority of your thinking time. That's what stress is to me.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty... Alright, so everybody... I was hoping that there'd be different definitions of this, because usually when you listen to this on a podcast, they're always saying, well, I mean, some people define it like this, and others have a completely definition of it. I mean, what is stress to begin with? It's just a buzzword. That's what I was trying to get at, but it seems that we're all in consensus here. Everybody has a very strong very almost definite definition of the vague area of what stress is. So let's just move on to the second part of it then, which is
the next segment.
Oh, all right. Thanks for shuffling me out of this one, Tom. That's all the information I know. Yeah. After hundreds of books, there was only one paragraph on it. Sorry about that.
What was the what do you think stress is?
Well, it's essentially that. It's a feeling of unrestrained tension that comes from a feeling of being overwhelmed. That's usually what it's described as by most people. But the thing is, with all emotions, the problem is that we've only got a few words to describe them. The vast majority of people have only about 24 words to describe the emotions they feel, despite the fact that there's thousands of emotions. In fact, there was recent studies done in the 80s which confirmed that there's over 10,000 facial expressions emotionally linked that other human beings, no matter where they're from, tribes in Papua New Guinea, the sophisticated New York bankman, everybody in the world knows what these 10,000 facial expressions are, which means that there is 10,000 emotions minimum. We do have words to describe most of these in the English language. We have 1 million words. Germany's a distant second. I think it's at 300,000. It's the most descriptive language there is. But still, most people have about 2,000 words in the vocabulary. 10,000 is the upper echelons. I think Shakespeare had about 25,000 words.
Wow.
We're not even scratching the surface of what there is. But the thing is, it's like what I was saying before on the radio segment, the power of words, which Tom strongly disagreed with. Doesn't think that words are powerful at all, apparently.
Do I?
Flying in the face of Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, his moving speech.
Let's not put words in my mouth. When did I say that?
What did you say,
Oh,
mate?
but am I putting words in your mouth?
What did I say? What was this about?
Well, you tell us. I don't,
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't believe this.
What? I don't think words have power. What do you mean?
It was your words. Why don't you clarify them?
I think words have power to a point. Like
To a point. That's it. But you don't give them their dues.
yeah, well,
I honestly can't remember this either, Jordan. Like, what did he
Are you
say?
sure you haven't made this up?
I'm very certain in my mind, but there's 2 people at the moment telling me that never happened.
Oh, it
so
could have
I'm
happened.
starting to think I'm insane.
Just clarify it. What was it?
It was on the radio show. We were talking about there's a direct link between as few words you know and being in jail, and as many words as you know and being in the upper echelons of society.
Oh, right. So Jordan was saying that having a higher vocabulary literally affects the human being that you are, as in, and his proof of that is that there's more uneducated, like people with a worse vocabulary tend to be in prison more. Is that what you're saying?
BINGO. Bingo was his name. Oh,
Yeah, I don't
yes.
agree with that, but I still think words have power. Like, obviously, that's how we communicate.
So okay. So we're going to have to agree to disagree on the prison part, but we're going to have to agree that Shakespeare was a pretty smart dude and he knew 25,000 words.
Yeah, sure.
Well, isn't it great that we finally found some common ground, and we're only into probably close to the 60th episode of the podcast. Fantastic.
Yeah,
So,
finally we agree on something.
what it is that, say when people say I'm feeling depressed, well, you've just lumped yourself into one emotion. Most people have about a cookie cutter of maybe 18 emotions that they feel. Most of them, you probably only feel about 6 in a week, because most of the time you're just describing yourself as happy, sad, angry, melancholy, maybe. You know, but there's a lot of ways to. So, for instance, if you're stressed, a lot of people just say I'm stressed. A more intelligent way of approaching that is saying my head feels like it's rushing at the moment. It's still accurate. It's just not this. It doesn't have as much emotional baggage to it. So as soon as you link the word stress in your mind to that feeling, you've intensified the emotion.
Yeah, to be that then. So if you like have the so you might, it just might be a kind of a cause of, it's like a symptom of sadness that you usually would associate with being sad, but it's not necessary that you're sad. You're just feeling that one symptom, and then you say, oh, I must be sad then, so then you take on the whole emotion of sadness.
Now you're catching on.
Yeah.
It's like we're a band and I'm playing the sax and you're playing the little harmonica that has a piece of tissue oddly at the top of it.
Yeah. Self-help riffing. That's what we're doing. We're working off each other.
Robbie, care to jam?
Yeah, join in, Robbie.
There's always room for a trumpet player.
Yeah, you can feel so many things. You can feel angry. You can feel...
You're off key, yeah.
What?
You're off key.
No, surely
not. No, this is the conversational version of... What's the next segment?
All right, now we're going on.
So basically, so the crux of it is...
Now you know how to be happy.
So how to deal with stress is you just identify what it is that's causing
do
the
a
stress.
Do a check in your body of the emotions and accurately describe what those emotions are. I guarantee you it will diffuse that feeling. A lot of it is that you've just labelled it into this... What's happened is you've also got thousands of reference experiences over your life of feeling stressed. So you're making that emotion worse by labelling it as stressed.
Yeah.
Instead, you should just actually take a fair accounting. Take a couple of seconds to really do a body check and be like, okay, well, at the moment, it just feels like my heart is racing, my chest feels a little bit tight, these kind of things. And as soon as you start focusing on them, what's really interesting about the human body, say that you're focusing on a headache, for instance. The headache becomes less throbbing if you're not sitting there going, oh, I've got a throbbing headache. And you just sit there and kind of observe the feeling of the headache.
Yeah, it's like if you're on a roller coaster, instead of being like, oh my God, it's going to be so scary, if you just think, what does the feeling of falling feel like? And you just focus on that feeling. It just, you hardly even feel it. It's kind of, so stop being stressed. You just have to think when you're feeling stressed, just think what's actually happening. Don't just lump it into an emotion. Just think like, I'm just saying I'm only stressed because I'm saying I'm stressed. Actually think, my head is just hurting or my chest is like throbbing, and that's what's happening to you. You're not stressed. You're just, your chest is throbbing.
Exactly.
So it's like, sorry.
If you just imagine now that the conversation has been transported, we're no longer in the FBI studio, we're now in Mullumbimby, somewhere in northern New South Wales area where there's a vague rainforest in the background where they're clearly growing a few marijuana plants on their property, hidden under a couple of trees so the ever-increasing helicopters of cops can't see it. One of those places where you get like a really cheap interview of some hippie dude that obviously made a lot of money in his 30s and has just been living there ever since. Those people would always be saying to that situation... there's a difference between pain and suffering. Great Buddhist tenement. The difference is that suffering is all in your head. Suffering is the thoughts and what you attach to that pain. Observing that pain is always like 1/100th of the suffering. So that's what it is. It's focusing on the pain, not making this story in your head of suffering.
The example would be when you go and lift weights. You're like tearing your muscles apart and there's a pain associated with that. And if you associated that pain as being bad, it would actually be agony to feel the pain of that. But because it's associated with progress and this is a good feeling to be feeling the burn of like working out, it becomes actually like a nice feeling. So there's suffering. There's like this kind of actual tangible difference between like your pain receptors in your skin and like the feeling of pain and then your mind making that leap to say this is actually suffering. So that's the argument you hear non-vegetarians use when saying, yeah, killing cows is fine because they're feeling pain, sure, but they're not suffering because they're not smart enough to understand what suffering is. So pain is minute compared to suffering, but they cry, so maybe they do suffer.
So we need
nonetheless something to think about, eh?
Yeah. Well, yeah, think about that. I don't know.
So that
when you think about it, you come to the natural conclusion, no, they're definitely experiencing a lot of pain.
And suffering, yeah.
So it's like if I need to go to the bathroom and I focus on that feeling, like that'll just go away.
Well, you just know what the feeling is. Yeah, just think about, like, enjoy the feeling of, like, this is just a feeling. It's not good or bad, it's just a feeling.
Is going to the bathroom for you, Robbie, good? You love going to the bathroom, don't you?
You do it a lot, so you must.
I don't love it. It's just a necessary part of my day.
But it seems like it's your hobby. It's your little train collection.
It's not a hobby. I just drink a lot of water, so I need to go to the bathroom a lot.
Come on.
What?
You feel a little happy going. It's not this. I, for instance, am not a fan of going to the toilet. Every time I have to go to the toilet, I'm just like, it's a bloody other room, and now I have to pull down my... some of it's on my pants.
Oh, it's annoying, but it's good not having the feeling of needing to go, isn't it? So, but now I know I'll just focus on that, and
it won't happen. And you won't ever have to go.
I don't need to go to the toilet anymore.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. I like going to the toilet.
So go to the gym more and focus on the feeling of going to the toilet.
Go to the gym as much as you can. Yeah. Eat fish, eat cows. That's what we're saying here.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's move on. So now we know that. Now we're going on to the thing that happened to me this morning, which was I don't really know what can come from this, but I thought it was a pretty interesting thing to happen, was I went to Piermont this morning, which is in Sydney for anyone else, like Brisbane listeners and stuff.
What are you doing there? Because to Brisbane listeners... bit hoity-toity for somebody who wears whole pants all the time, and not those ones you buy from Just Jeans that already have holes in them.
These are brand new.
No, he's got new ones. He's got a new bag. Look, he's got skater shoes and big baggy,
brand new clothes.
Yeah, this is why I'm suspicious. Why are you dressed like this today, going to Piermont?
I had to record a voiceover for a Telstra ad. But yeah, so...
Oh, yes.
My other job.
With the world's most politically off voiceover artist.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, it was. Yeah. He said some stuff. Anyway, I
had some stories. He's your classic day drinker in a bar. This guy.
Yeah. I was complaining
but with golden tonsils for some reason.
Because this voiceover artist has the best voice in the world. Like, it's really deep. You'd know his voice if you heard him. He's on so many radio ads now. And it's just so funny hearing him. He's like a very racist man, and he's very just has these such like Aussie slang where he'll be like, she doesn't mean anything, mate. It's she's showering with her bare butt showing or something like. Have you heard that phrase before?
Bare butt.
Showering butt naked as like a derogatory thing of being like, you're just like anyone else. You shower butt naked like me. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, the point of the story is
a lot of meaning behind that. Yeah. He's got a point.
Yeah. So I show up for this bit of work I had to do. I parked my car, I went and got a bacon and egg roll, and on my way back, I was in a 2-hour zone, and I was going to move the car into the garage area. So I was walking towards my car to get into it, and coming towards me was this, like, very, very derelict man, who later on I was thinking, like, if I had to tell the police about this, how would I describe this guy? Because I can't remember him. The only thing I could describe is that he just seemed like a very stupid looking person. Like, he just looked stupid. I don't know what that means descriptive wise. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it just seemed
Does he look like John Connor when he comes back in time to chase the Terminator?
He just looked very loose fitting clothing, just had a very kind of droopy face. I don't know what about him was stupid. But
how old?
Like 30.
Was one of his eyes bigger than the other one? I always think that's an extremely
like a very
stupid,
unsymmetrical face. Oh, and the other thing was, so he was carrying...
I love how, like, an absurdist face, something that Picasso would draw, is always seen as stupid. Yeah. The closest someone looks like a reductionist face, the dumber they look.
So this stupid man is walking towards me, kind of stumbling towards me down the path, and I'm like, the car's in between us, and I'm walking towards the car, he's walking towards the car. He's holding in his hands an L plate for, like, driving, and a kitchen knife. And I didn't think anything of it really. All in one hand. So the L plate's in his hand and the knife is in his hand. And I get into the...
like a sword and a shield.
Yeah, and as I'm walking, I'm thinking like, oh, this is quite a dodgy looking dude. And like, what if he was to try and rob me? And I like sat in my car. And as I sat there, I was holding the keys and I was like, would it be inappropriate for me to lock the door as he's walking past? And as I went to lock the door, I clicked the button to lock it. And a second later, he tried to open the door of my car. And then I was just like looking at him, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, mate, I didn't know it wasn't my car." And then he just walked off. And
that is full on.
Yeah, and I was thinking like, if I didn't lock it like a split second earlier, he would have just got into my car
maybe
with this knife and an L plate.
See, why don't you believe in magic, Tom? You had a sixth sense then. Either that or a small little girl ghost that was like, "Don't end up like me. Lock the door." Was it with you?
No, well, it was just
how do you describe that sense then?
Well, it's just when you see someone with a knife and they look insane, probably like you feel a bit
Yeah, that could do.
But yeah, so that happens.
So it's either ghosts or the knife.
Yeah, one of the two there.
50-50 shot, though, that it is the ghost.
Yeah, and I was thinking how, like, why was he holding the L plate as though he was going to, like, take me hostage and then, but legally then drive the car home or something on his L plates. Yeah. It's just, like, it's so incongruous.
So he's not actually trying to steal your car. He's trying to get his P plates in the only legitimate way he can.
Yeah, trying to get his hours up. And he needed someone to help him.
That knife was a pen knife.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the only dodgy thing is that he was only driving around for an hour, but he forces you to ride in an hour and a half.
Yeah. And do you think as well it would be more dodgy if he was holding a fork as well? If he was holding a knife and a fork, would it make it way less threatening? Because then it's like he's been eating or something.
No, but it does imply cannibalism.
It does. He's killed an L plater and...
I mean, walking around on the street with that... Well, chickens aren't walking down the road, are they? Humans are.
Yeah.
What other source of protein is there? Why do you need to cut into anything with a fork?
Why walk anywhere with a knife and fork? It seems like it should always be at the destination of food.
What do you think that they're less or more menacing if they're also very gently humming to themselves, "Hey diddle diddle, cat and the fiddle"?
Is it more threatening?
What do you reckon? More or less threatening?
If you're close enough that you can hear them humming, it's too late, isn't it?
So you just let him walk away?
Yeah, well then I was thinking, like, I don't know if I should, like, call the cops or not, or if it's just a thing where, like, that just happens. Like, people try and do that sometimes. And you just...
No, I don't think people just do that.
Because he might have not been trying to mug me, and maybe he was just a bit crazy, and he was just actually thought... Crazy. Or maybe he was not crazy at all, and he just thought it was his car. And he was like, oh, sorry.
No.
Just opening my door.
Not having that for 1 second. That guy's crazy, and he needs to be locked up. I can't believe it. You just let him walk away.
Well, I had to go to
what
this
would
job.
you do,
I was
Robbie?
late.
Call the police.
Okay,
really? That's
probably shouldn't have asked you, but like as a rational human being, what you did is fine.
What, just let a man with an L plate and a knife, kitchen knife, walk down the road after trying to fucking kill you?
He didn't try and kill me. He just tried to open the passenger seat door. I don't know why I'm defending him, but it didn't.
Yeah, I know.
It would have wasted too much time.
From Stockholm syndrome.
yeah, protecting my assailant. No, yeah, I had to get to the work.
He's misunderstood.
Did you tell them about it?
I told the racist voiceover artist.
Yeah, what did he say?
I'd be very interested to hear what his views are on this.
Yeah, he just thought it was funny.
How did he link it back to political correctness?
Well, he just immediately was like, yeah, have you ever actually met this sound dude's wife? I don't know if he's actually... do you reckon he's gay? And I was like, what does it matter, man? Let's get to work. It was like in the lift going up. It's just the first thing he brought up.
That's quite amazing.
He's like, he always talks about being married. I've never seen a photo of his wife.
Do you use the excuse of time to get out of these uncomfortable conversations of going, oh mate, I'd love to discuss this, but we're getting paid by the hour here?
Yeah, well, like, we were leaving and I was like, oh, I've got a 2-hour spot and I have to leave.
Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah, because he was trying to tell me about his mate who's won heaps of money playing poker or something, and anyway, I just had to go. So.
Was that what led you to the poker video this morning?
Yeah, it would have
really?
Been, actually. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, he wears a lot of bintang singlets, this guy. I can't
amazing
really
voice.
It is really the only positive thing you can say about this man.
Yeah.
Motorcyclist.
Yeah, he rides his motorcycle. Anyway, all right.
You can either give or take that.
All right, so now we're going to go on to a more serious topic, which we thought we should talk about ever since this BuzzFeed article was written about...
How can it be serious? It's from BuzzFeed.
Mm.
God. BuzzFeed Oz Politics.
Seems like, yeah.
OZ.
Oxymoron.
It's like it's the laziest abbreviation for Australian, but it's also the abbreviation for an ounce of weed. and that's their name. That's how they're trying to be taken seriously in the political sphere of Australia. And this man, this Mark D. Stefano, sleeps well at night writing for BuzzFeed. Even though, from Facebook stalking him, and I will admit that I got a little bit obsessive with it, right? He graduated from a hoity-toity private school, went to Sydney University. With all of that prestige, with all of those head starts in life, he still winds up doing fucking, like, alongside a bunch of articles that are going, which one's the best Disney princess? We found out that apparently it's Frozen because it was released a week ago and everybody's still flash hot flavour of the month around that. That's some good scoop there, BuzzFeed.
Is that what he had written? Like, that was the kind of articles he was writing?
No, he works for that organisation.
Right.
The ones that he writes are just like, you won't believe what Tony Abbott was eating, and shows what Tony Abbott's eating, an onion. But people still click on it regardless.
I don't think it's necessarily, like, I don't think he's too bad in this. Like, it was, anyway,
why
context,
not?
Come on, the whole community can just
give a bit of context for what we don't know is that, so we released this video on the ACTU, why you should vote, why you should enroll to vote. And it was a video that the ACTU, who is a union, helped fund for, because we, like anyone who's a Patreon donor knows that it isn't just Jordan sitting around. Like, there's an editor that needs to be paid, and it's like a proper business here. So we need money, all right? And
don't skimp out on some Patreon either. This is an excuse for you to dilate on money.
We need your money too.
Get more.
It's and everyone is. Like, they don't pay much. It's just like everyone is very underpaid. It's just
essentially, here's the process. We write a video. We go to a bunch of left-wing organisations. We talk about this on the podcast anyway. We go to a bunch of organisations and we say to them, we're doing a video on, say, I don't know, the GST. And we see if any of those organisations will give us some money to make the video we were going to make anyway. So they have no editorial control over it, apart from the fact that I sometimes send it to them to say, do you think I could get sued for this? Okay, so with tracks like full editorial control, obviously, like, lawyers look at it to see if you can get in trouble for it, but really extremely minimal, right? No editor, no publication that you ever see. So that BuzzFeed article, for instance, that knob, unless he's the head of it, he would take it to his editor, who would say, like, oh, how about we just make it look more scandalous? Like, it's getting funding from the union. Yeah, well, here's a news flash. BuzzFeed gets all of its money from native advertising, essentially. That's pretty much its entire business model. And they aren't helping, they're not propagating the ideals and beliefs of organisations that gave you the opportunity to read and write in the first place. Obviously not Mark D. Nobsfano, because he went to a private school, but for the rest of us that went to public schools, right? The unions are the reason you can read. It's their education reform. So anybody that's sitting there in the comments being like, can't believe this hack is paid by the unions, you wouldn't be able to write that fucking comment in the first place if it wasn't for the unions, you fucking morons. Instead, you're fucking siding with BuzzFeed, who try to sell you fucking scotch.
I don't think many people are siding with it, though. Only very few people seem to like the
idea. Everybody else, like, you're on the right side. Like, good on you. Join the part. All I'm saying is, those 1% of dickheads, and it really was 1% of the comments, just know you're an asshole.
Well, I think, I don't know. I think the dirty thing about it is that the article isn't trying to point to... It's kind of just saying, like, here's an interesting thing. Like, did you know that, Jordan's, getting money from the unions to, like, make some of these videos? Like, I don't know, I'm not saying anything about it, but maybe does that ruin his integrity? Like, is that a weird thing? Like, and they just put it out there as, it's clear what they're trying to do, which is they're trying to, like, create this kind of atmosphere. Like, what they're trying to do is give fodder to people that don't like the content to then create this kind of... lose the value of, like, any authenticity. They're trying to discredit it and make it seem like it is got this, like, paid for bias. Like, everyone already knows it's like, where you stand politically. And the dumb part about it is that it's always been consistent. If there was, like, this sudden swing where all the content that was coming out was all, like, pro, like mining or something like that, it would be obviously just like, that is something you should be upset about. Yeah. But this is all stuff where we will, like, approach them and say, we did something with Greenpeace not too long ago and no one cared at all. It was like, obviously there was Greenpeace branding all over it, and it was something which was consistent with what we do. It was something that we wanted to do. Greenpeace were happy to help out for it. So then it all works and no one has a problem. But then, it wasn't just BuzzFeed that got into contact, there was like a dozen different sources of news. And how annoying is that's the thing that gets all these different like news sources interested, is this like really gossipy kind of nothing thing about where funding comes from on a video which is no different to any video we usually did, and also had a disclaimer in it which like was admittedly very small, but it was just like that was the thing that like tipped them off. Like it was never a secret. Like we've spoken about it on the podcast. How's that for journalism? Listen to the podcast like thousands of people do, and they like the amount of comments that came out after that, or that messages that I got of people saying, I don't even get what the fuss is. Like, you'd already said this on the podcast. I don't get why people think this is a secret. I knew about this. And if we hadn't made it clear, how the hell did they know about it? Like, they knew about it.
Exactly. They're so lazy. The mainstream media is so lazy, shit at their job, that they have to wait until it's force-fed into their dumb minds that we are getting paid for by other organisations, right? They have to wait for the disclaimer. They could have done the smallest amount of research. It takes nothing. It had to actually be on the fucking screen for them to put two and two together. That was the first point. The second point is as well, though, the BuzzFeed actually did do us a favour, because the Australian was snooping around and they were going to make it like this big thing in the Murdoch press, but because BuzzFeed beat them to it, it was just on a site that most people would agree with me anyway on, and was just like, fucking knob, Stefano, I fucking hate your... Like, you're the trash journalism. Which, again, that piece of shit has never contacted me for anything before. He's never challenged me on any of the facts, on the direction of any of the videos before that, because he doesn't do any fucking research, obviously. He does, like, he does BuzzFeed shit. I cannot stress this enough. This is a fucking journalist for BuzzFeed. He's not making any... He's barely, like... I cannot imagine that guy waking up in every day inspired, being like, I'm going to change the world and expose a bunch of, like, I'm an offshoot of WikiLeaks, I am. He's thinking up every day just being like, fuck, what's going to get a bunch of clicks? That's his inspiration for life. Disgusting. That's what he's fucking trying to focus on. So the thing is, though, the BuzzFeed... Fuck, what was I talking about again?
Just go off on the tangent. Well, yeah, like, I would think the interesting point would be that, like, this is like, if you think about why this is coming out right now, it's kind of interesting in that we've known the Australian has been wanting to do an article for months, for 5 months at least. So it's just funny, and like, it's all gossip. And but we also have gossip on what they're doing. It's a bit funny to think that the election just happens to be coming up, and that we knew that they were waiting to publish this before the election, so then they can try and discredit the channel, which is an interesting thing to do. In that, like, what does that say about the Australian? Like, what does that say about their alignments? If they're like clear, like a media source, which is meant to be like, we're not a media source. It's comedy. It's like, it's not. This is like so strange how it's like when they want it to become journalism, it's not journalism.
It's comedy with a message, obviously.
Yeah, it is with a message, but it isn't journalism. It's like we give sources, but it's clearly got a left slant on it. Like, no one's hiding that.
It's an opinion piece.
Yeah, like, you can't confront an opinion piece and say but that's the thing. They're not even confronting the content of the piece. There's no problem with no one can have a problem with it, because there isn't a problem with the content. It's just this, like,
it's just the facts, but they don't pay attention to it. It's exactly like in the Bernie Sanders campaign. They do not pay attention to the content of his campaign. They're always just looking for things like, so you hit Hillary Clinton saying she's not qualified. That's the only reason they'd ever get him on, is to talk about these bullshit little points that are aside from the fact that he has the right message. It's the same thing with this. They will not talk about any of the subjects that we've discussed in any of the videos ever. They don't have time for that. They're not interested in that. They're not interested in the truth and direction of where this country is currently headed.
It was also funny to think just how, like, the only thing they did seem to have time for was to try and, like, work out where the funding was coming from. And most of them, like, all these different people were, like, just all trying to... And they were all, like, wrong. They were all, like, thinking different places or whatever it was. Like, it was just, like... great journalism to, like, see the the authorized by D. Oliver, and to just work out who D. Oliver is. Like that's stick one. Like that's why there is a disclaimer, so you can know who it is. It's like it's not like a huge epiphany. Like so investigative. Wow.
Fuck, what scum. The thing is, like, as well, he contacted me just before I was about to go into a meeting, right? I heard it, and as soon as I heard his like scared little shitty voice, I was thinking, fuck, I'm gonna get in, like, obviously he's just gonna like make some bullshit attack piece like what he did. I wanted to get my side of the story on it, and I said, can you call me back after this meeting? Admittedly, I did say, like, call me back in a couple of hours. The meeting went way longer for hilarious reasons that I'm not allowed to discuss, but like pretty much I'm not going to say what party it was, but like this party came to me and was like, how would you like to do content for us? And again, this just shows that I've got way more integrity than BuzzFeed, because I sincerely doubt that they ever turned down any native advertising ever. But when I was in like a meeting with this particular party that was saying, would you like to support us? And I thought, oh yeah, it seems like that'd be pretty cool. And then when I came in there, they're pretty much just the modern day One Nation party.
No thanks.
But I turned that fucking stuff down because because obviously I'm just going to do stuff with organizations that I agree with. I don't see how this is a compromise in integrity whatsoever. But anyway, I was in a meeting with them. It went way longer than what I expected. By the time I get home, I was going to ring him, and already it's like up on BuzzFeed. He couldn't fucking wait. He could not wait. This filthy little condor buzzard circling.
That's a bit unfair. Like, I don't think he was that bad. It was the article wasn't like damning. That was what I kind of found.
No, but it's just dumb. That's what's wrong with it. It's just a stupid article.
Well, it was funny how as soon as everyone was like, I don't get what the story is, how he was like, yeah, no, I'm actually a fan. Like, I don't like how he kind of like
that was weird, wasn't
like
it? That was really weird. His backtracking I thought was very odd.
Exactly, and you can tell this snake that if the backlash, that's why he wrote it like that, right? Because he didn't know which way the ball would fall. As if
it's
he
pretty
did.
Disgusting, isn't it? It's a pretty fucked up way to
Well, I guess at least the Australian, if they did do this attack piece, at least it's like an attack piece.
I would have much preferred. And that's the other. Actually, like, now that I think about it, that's what's so disappointing about this is that asshole got the scoop when I really wanted to be in the Australian. It would have been awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, if anyone has any questions about
BuzzFeed.
Yeah. Well, if it was, we were talking about doing a video on it. If it just got a little bit more, if more people did articles on it, we probably would have done something on it. But no one seemed to care.
Yeah, exactly. It just died in the arse. Which is why the Australian obviously saw that article and thought, oh shit, there's actually no juice in this. All right, let's just go back to writing on the day that they said that they were going to release my video. An attack piece on my video. Instead, they just ran 3 pages of how evil the CFMEU is.
Oh, really? Well, I got that. Yeah, I guess they get what they want, right? That's what they're after by doing that. It's just to attack the union, basically.
Yeah. Any way they can. It's just filth. It's just utter filth.
Anyway.
Name why everyone always just says the unions are corrupt. Give me some fucking examples, you knobs. Anyway, next thing. Sorry.
So the next one's how to be cool. Somebody requested this one. Ironically, one of the points is here. Follow BuzzFeed. Weirdly,
pardon?
That was a joke.
Oh, right.
That was a joke. If you heard that.
No, I didn't hear it. What did you say?
I said. Ironically, one of the points is follow BuzzFeed.
Oh, what? One of the
how to be cool.
To be cool, follow BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
Is that your advice?
That was just a joke.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying how to be cool.
Yeah. So what happened? Some commenter asked.
Well, yeah, but just before we were saying how bad
it's a very BuzzFeed type segment, is what you're saying.
No, I just said
no, I didn't think that
BuzzFeed.
far, did he?
I just said like BuzzFeed.
It's cool.
Yeah, that was it. That was a joke.
Oh, okay.
All right, anyway, you tell us now, Monty.
I don't know. This is your segment.
What do you mean?
The how to be cool thing.
It's everyone's segment.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but explain where you got it from.
Well, somebody just commented, can we talk about how to be cool?
Oh, right.
On the pod. Somebody just said, can we talk about how to be cool? Because
so this is an audience choice.
Yeah, I'm assuming this is on the back of, us shitting on everything all the time, probably. So they're like, how do we be cool then, I guess?
Well, that's step 1 right there. shit on everything. I mean, it's just a recipe to success.
Yeah,
surely.
I think it's just easier than being nice about... Like, can you think of an example of how something could be funny, but you're being really nice about it without being sarcastic? Probably, if we thought about it for a while.
There'd be a lot of silence on this podcast. We could do it. Probably not a good idea.
Yeah. I reckon if you want to be cool, just find the coolest guy at school and just stick to him. That's how you be cool.
Yeah, just become a friend. Yeah, find the cool group and infiltrate them.
Yeah, just get
maybe
really
like
deep in with the cool
steal
group.
the girlfriend, get some cred from the other guys.
Yeah.
Maybe start a fight. Maybe get in a fight.
Work out a lot, get good at sport.
Yeah.
That's probably what my advice.
Do you think that your mum's advice, in hindsight, turned out to be true?
What's that?
Just be yourself.
Yeah, I guess so. Also, yeah, but that's so hard, though, isn't it?
It's
such
hard,
easy
that's
words
why.
to say, but
that's why it's actually the key.
yeah,
Because it's quite zen to do that.
being yourself. Yeah, I reckon the key is just to not care about anything. You can't be not cool if you just don't give a shit about anything. Like, you have to be cool, right? There's nothing... You've got no vulnerability because if you don't care about it, no one can target you on anything because you don't care, right? It's just this kind of like, and you kind of respect the dude that just like blows through life and just has no interests but no disinterests. It's just a neutral person.
That is one way to approach being cool, the Buddhist monk approach.
Yeah.
But there's also ghetto gangster lord boss approach.
Yeah.
Boss is really cool as well.
Yeah. True. I wonder if the ghetto lord cares about anything. If they like, besides like keeping their position at the top.
Money type.
I think that's it. Either you care primarily in this, just have this real cosmic outlook on the planet of, well, it doesn't matter if this happens or if this happens, really. We're still just some ants in a cosmic soup.
Yeah.
There's that way to look at it, but then there's also just like, get money also makes you cool.
Yeah.
Focusing on the most worldly possible possessions.
Who do you reckon's really cool to like that ghetto king, like Kanye or something like that, or like
P. Diddy.
P. Diddy? Who's cool to P. Diddy? Who do you reckon P. Diddy reckons is cool?
Biggie.
And who does Biggie think is cool? Do you think?
Shakespeare.
yeah, Shakespeare, the coolest man who's ever lived.
He did look up to him.
Really?
And that is kind of sad that Kanye is so devolved from Shakespeare, and it shows. He is lyrically retarded. And it goes from like... Okay, so it goes Shakespeare to Biggie, then Biggie is looked up by P. Diddy, and then Kanye looks up to P. Diddy. So there's three degrees of separation.
No, now Kanye's obsessed with Picasso.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Life of Pablo.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course.
That's why apparently that album is, a series of genius sketches. Some of it's a little bit demo-y, but it shows the heart and soul of where his creative process is at.
Right, yeah.
A lot of it's utter shit. It's actually not that at all, Kanye. Yeah.
So no points for trying.
How do you reckon you'd be cool, Robbie?
Tried.
You're a cool guy. Do you think you're a cool guy?
We're all cool here, aren't we, guys? We're all cool here. Got a little bubble, got a little podcast here. I reckon probably start a podcast, start a YouTube channel, maybe Facebook page, Instagram, that sort of thing. Just get involved in social media.
That's how you be cool.
Yeah.
Do you reckon the guy who deletes Facebook is a cool dude or not?
Well, you
Depends,
can.
really.
Do you know? No, it actually does depend. You can be, or you can be like this guy that we used. The guy that we hated in school that deleted it, and he's an utter loser, dickhead.
Right. I didn't know.
I'll say it. I'll bleep it out.
Did he delete it because of the abuse that he got?
Probably a bully. This dickhead loser. Had to delete his Facebook because of me.
No. I think it was. I don't know. I think he just was trying to remove himself. He went to study religion at uni, and I think he was just trying to remove himself from all. He was trying to be a bit more ascetic. Remove himself from worldly things, and he just basically he removed Facebook, but then kept reviewing books. He kept uploading book reviews, which was amazing.
Yeah, now he's a journalist. He's done BuzzFeed. He's like a journalist at some like rural town in Queensland now, I think, doing like those really like little stories, about like a pie shop opening and
like the Sunshine Coast Advocate.
Yeah, like that. It's kind of nice, I guess. Yeah, kind of happy for him that he's.
Oh no, I'm glad he's going well. I mean, like he just so happened that like he was not that nice of a person.
Yeah.
I do think that his source of revenue is even more honourable than ours. I will give him that. If he's getting his money from the Sunshine Coast Advocate, the vast majority of his income would be coming from steel beams used to make outdoor sheds and hay. That'd be where most of his money. That'd be most of the advertising, surely. That and a bunch of sad people, which, interestingly, that I was reminded of this, Robbie. You know how you don't have a girlfriend, right? Mm-hmm. You know how the papers have all these really desperate 50-year-olds looking for love that don't know how to use Tinder.
Really? How do you know about that?
How do I know about it, or has Robbie?
Yeah, how do you both know about this? Do you read the paper regularly and see these ads?
No, but I have read a paper before.
Yeah. All right, go on.
Is this a revelation to you?
Yeah, I never knew that you could actually do like this dating through newspapers. I know there's like prostitutes
and half of them.
And stuff.
Well, pretty much, I'm pretty sure half of them must be, because they are extremely poor Chinglish. Like it's just like me horny, me look for love, please call.
Right. Okay.
I pay $15 for that.
Are you saying can we get Robbie to do it?
Please.
Yeah, right.
He's doing it.
Stay tuned for that next week.
All right, Robbie, let's talk about your memes.
All right, last week we talked about how meme was art. We came to the conclusion that meme was art. I talked about a modern art piece. Everyone agreed. A couple of people in the comments didn't think so, but
I think a lot of people didn't they?
Most didn't think.
I think there were a few, but I think we generally all came to the conclusion that yes, they are art. And anyway, now I thought I'll just take this time to sort of go through a bunch of sort of modern art memes.
All right, well, give us one.
Okay. So I thought I'd go down a bit of a different track now. Last week I did an image and I described that to you. Well, we'll go back to those as the weeks go by. But I think this week we'll do maybe a different one, a sort of a text-based one. I'm a big fan of the chicken tendies memes. I showed Jordan it.
Priceless.
You love that.
Really good memes. Like all good memes, they come from an extremely mean, anti-human place.
Yeah.
Don't you reckon that makes the... Robbie, as a meme connoisseur, surely those are the best. Anything from 4chan always has to peak your laugh limit.
Oh yeah, if it's
do
coming
you go
from,
to 4chan?
I don't really. No, it's actually a little bit too hardcore for me, I think.
Isn't 4chan the core? It's the central node.
Apparently, I was always told by my cousin, he's like, don't go on that. You just
stay away.
Leave it be. And for some reason, I just, that's really stuck with me, and I've never really touched it.
You'd think,
but I've spoken to a lot of people.
Kind of an explorer, you should take that extra step.
Yeah, I might actually. I'm wary.
As a quick side, guys, please put in the comments the most fucked things you've seen on 4chan, and we'll force Robbie to look at them.
I think they have snuff and stuff on there, don't they?
Yeah, I think there's some
sounds like
proper warped things.
So yeah, use your common sense, please, when you're posting on that.
Yeah,
and by common sense we mean, come on, post the snuff.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, so explain us a meme.
So this is a text-based meme that I came upon that I thought I'd tell you about it. It has its roots in romance, this modern art piece, and also online interaction, which is obviously a hallmark of today's society.
Sure. It's like an art gallery.
And all right, so here we go. So this is one of those things where it has dot points and it tells a story. So this is a Tinder success story. Match with cutie 3.14, referring to the pie. 7 out of 10. Flirt for a while. Suggest we go for a hike outside of town. She'd love to. We're walking, having a great conversation. She keeps trying to hold my hand. Come across a bunch of nice campfire sites, picnic areas. Nobody's around. We sit next to each other by a fire pit. She brushes her leg against mine. She smiles. Get an idea. Get up and walk to a cedar tree. collect shavings from the tree along with discarded pine needles, dried leaves, and grass. It rained earlier, but I think they'll work. Throw them into the pit with some old bunched up newspaper and a small log and branch. Get lighter out and start a fire, lighting the collected grass and shavings in several different places. Blow on it to fan the flames. Sit back and watch my creation for hours with a smile on my face. Keep periodically gathering materials from the woods to keep it going. She left ages ago. Pick unrelated.
Wow.
There you go.
That was really long.
It's a Tinder success story. So what that's doing is there's a little bit of a joke there. So
it wasn't successful.
No, but it was successful. So but it's to do with like the actual. So Tinder, as we know it today, it's an application for phones.
Yeah.
But actually, traditionally, what it was is the kind
Tinder.
of Tinder. It's what you use to start fires. And so this is one of those funny stories where it's using popular rhetoric of the day and then subverting that in a very interesting, funny way. And
we get it.
So there's a picture.
How is that art?
So there's a picture here of.
It's a joke, right?
So there's a picture here of the Tinder symbol, and that's why I was saying pick unrelated, because it's not actually for the dating app. It's Tinder. It's what you use to.
Is this a page full of Tinder, the exact joke over and over?
I'm sure there are many more. This is just one that I came across.
How is it a meme as well?
That's a meme in the sense that it's...
Because I feel like the word meme is thrown around a lot these days.
It is. You're correct. This is a text-based meme.
So will that be adapted and changed in a way? Because as far as I know, that's the definition of a meme.
Yeah, it would be in the sense that there are other... the idea of a success story is... quite universal. You can implement that in a variety of different ways. This is just one, so Tinder success stories. I'm sure, I haven't actually looked this up, but I'm sure you'd be able to find...
So you don't know it's a meme until you find something that's actually been, changed from it. The meme of the, the dinosaur, the philosophy raptor or whatever. That's a meme because it's changed and adapted and evolves. Like a gene, a meme. It feels like it's changed meaning in the last, year.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All I know is that's some modern art for you. Modern internet art.
I don't understand your obsession with this, Robbie, and I'm starting to get a little bit concerned. You didn't used to love memes this much. I honestly reckon you got a problem. If you think that that's art, it's becoming quite an obsession.
Because we were saying this before.
Look, this one isn't the best. It's not the best bit of art in the world.
But where do you rank it? Where do you rank memes?
Yeah, on the art scale.
So to you, would it just go classical music, 19th century revisionist art, memes?
Look, they're low.
And then opera, then... What's the lowest?
What's higher, miming or memes?
Look, as if you wouldn't rather memes over opera.
Yeah,
but it's not a point of preferring it. It's a point of what's more artistically complicated.
Like classical music, you would say would be more artistically complicated than other forms of music.
Look, I'll concede. Last week's meme was of a higher caliber than this week's. I'm just adding some variety here with the text-based memes. I would say memes in general are, low on the spectrum. There's no doubt about it.
I'd say they're lower than Screamo. There's obviously more artistic talent in Screamo than there is memes.
It has to be the lowest form of art. Give us an example.
If it is art, you at least have to concede that, please.
Can I say...
What's lower than
Don't be
memes?
obsessive, Robbie.
I'm going to say Screamo's lower than memes.
In art.
But you have to do things with your voice. You have to train for that. You can't just scream your pipes out in front of a microphone. They'll get raspy.
Yeah, but you have to do stuff with your brain for memes.
Yeah.
You have to do stuff with your brain for Screamo as well. It's hard to get in touch with those dark emotions.
Yeah, it takes it out of you.
Look, it's just my opinion, guys.
Yeah, sure.
What do you think? Do you think Screamo's better?
No, I don't I don't really know much about Screamo.
Everybody loves a meme, right? As much as I disparage them on this podcast, I'll always give a meme a shot. When somebody says, check this out, you're like, all right, that's 0.5 of a second of my life. It could be hilarious.
Yeah, it doesn't take long, does it?
Exactly.
But I'm still not going to concede that Screamo is
It's kind of like how movies for decades were just considered kind of the popcorn. They weren't considered art. Right, it was it took ages for music to be when it's really popular. it won't be art until it's, there's a kind of a leap it takes where it's like, oh, we actually have to look at this in an artistic way.
Yeah, you are impatient.
Yeah. Are memes ready to be art?
do you know what I mean? Like, there are. I will say there are shitty memes out there. There are some out there that consider more of our time in terms of how long we analyze them. I will also say about this particular text-based one that I read out today, it's got its also roots in RuneScape, in the sense that you could make fire in that game, and I think that's
what. So anything that has fire, it's got roots into that.
Well, I think there was fire making levels in that game, and that was actually a skill when I used to play that I was actually heavily involved with, and that was actually the main skill that I would.
So you're saying
I can't figure out if this is like fringe views or if this is like when a year 12 English teacher tries to get you to read too much into an Australian poem.
Well, he's obviously reading a lot into it to make that leap to say just because it's got to do with the theme of fire, therefore it has to be to do with RuneScape because that's a feature of the game.
Yeah, okay, so it is a year 12 teacher then.
Yeah, like whatever meaning you want to give it, if you can.
Well, I don't know. I think like
that'd be amazing. I cannot wait because this is the day that Robbie will get a job. As soon as this is considered an art form, it'll be one of those one subjects that you could do for, say, photography or something like that in year 12. That's when payday is for Robbie.
Yeah, part one of your English exam. You know how you have to do those, like, respond to a stimulus, and it'll be like an image? It's like, imagine if they did a meme for that.
That's
They'd have to get you into Mark.
Yeah,
this
you'd
is
have
your
to be the
skill set.
specialist. Yeah. Robbie, like, we're doing the HSC this year. What do we choose? Tell us what it means. We don't know what this meme means.
Oh, God.
All the coffee you can handle.
That's your prize. Yeah, Nutella and coffee. There's a toilet here as well if you want to use it.
Oh, Lord. Did you guys play RuneScape? Just coincident,
I played it on a Mac and I never knew what right click was, so I couldn't get off Tutorial Island because I didn't know how to mine the stones.
No.
So I gave up.
Damn. Jordan?
No, but I do know somebody who used to professionally build characters in RuneScape and sell them on eBay. Really? That was his job.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, my Indian friend's brother was one of the best in Australia at RuneScape, but he got his chat disabled for swearing at someone. So he used to play for hours and he could never respond to people, and they'd be like, holy shit, man, like, where did you get that armor? Or like, how are you this highly leveled? And he just wouldn't be able to reply to them because he was banned.
But he came off as this martial artist expert.
Yeah. Too clever to respond to mere words.
A man of no words, all action.
XP. Yeah. All right, so our final segment is not really a segment, it's more just a kind of a guessing game where we're going to see, it's kind of an ultimatum for Jordan, which is... Ooh.
Should we say its name first?
Yeah, right, come on.
All right. Goosebumps. No story. Just scary. So because I used to read out Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Choose your own adventure Goosebumps specifically. The ones that have the extremely fun casing that changes in the light when you look at it, but the inside is just as scary. It's a trap, guys. So don't go into the light.
Matt Tarrant sent us a few. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thank you, Matt.
We haven't touched them since. It was a nice gesture, though.
So we're going to let you guys choose the scare between these two end segments that we're tossing up over.
Please choose option 2.
Okay.
So Jordan really wants to do one of these, and we want him to do another one of these. So you guys get to decide.
Don't let me down.
So the first one is option 1, which is called Jordan Lays an Egg.
And we wanted to do this on Easter on the radio, but we sort of self-censored ourselves, thinking this might be a bit too risque.
Yes.
And it's essentially Jordan's going to put a chocolate egg up his bottom and then lay it.
So essentially I'm going to be performing audio pornography. It's just porn, isn't it?
It's Jackass, which John loves so much. So we're giving him the opportunity to be a part of that magic. And
it's not? It's Jackass? Well, in that case, yeah, I'm totally fine with that then.
All right, just imagine it's Jackass. We might film it, and you just have to poo out a little egg.
We might film it.
Probably won't.
No, we're not going to be filming it. I really want people to just at least pretend that didn't happen. Yeah, I don't want there to be footage of that.
Option 2 is Jordan's idea, which it's just scary.
We measure our boys.
Our boys. So Jordan wants us all to go to the bathroom and measure the size of our penises.
And what's wrong with that?
And just talk about it.
No, but he wants us to measure them flaccid and erect.
And hard. Well, you got to see how much grow room you get. We need to determine who here has a meat penis and who has a blood.
So alright, so what do you think would be more interesting, to hear Jordan laying an egg?
Or us
do
read
you
out
want to
some
know
stats?
the size of all of our penises? As if option 2 is more interesting.
So yeah, you choose the scare. How do you let it, like, Jordan, what do you have to post?
Okay, if you want me laying an egg, just put up Crumb from Our Real Monsters. The man that used to hold his eyeballs with his hands, had really stinky armpits. That was half of his spooky aspect. That's scary enough. The second one is a picture of a ruler with one of those Windows 98 GIF smiley faces and a little bubble that says, "You guys rule." You know what that is?
Yeah.
We're going to be measuring our cocks.
Alright, so you guys decide. So thanks for having us this week.
Right, we're going to end on that. That's fine.
Okay, thanks to everyone for listening. This has been episode 55 of the Friendlyjordies podcast. Thanks to FBR Radio.
And remember, next week's fun is up to you, all right?
Yeah, so please.
One more time, please vote for option 2.
Option
I don't
1,
want to put
please.
a piece of chocolate up my bum.
Robbie, which option do you want to get? The people listen to you.
I think we should do Jordan lays an egg.
Yeah.
You bastard.
But it's
You've tilted the scale as well.
no, it's
gonna
Can't do this, Robbie.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What?
Alright, cut it off. End it there, please.
Can you edit yourself saying that you want option 2, please?
No.
Oh, for